G'day, this is the Dragon Barrows Nerdsville. I am your host, Dragon Barrows. Today, as I woke up about half an hour ago, I seen on the online on one of my many social media accounts that I view daily. One of my friends, who I've known for a long time and I call Senpai, posted up and he's virtually saying that Channel 9 News in Adelaide virtually character assassinated a computer designer. Don't know. I've read through the whole story and the guy said that the real report said, not the Channel 9 News report, but the real report said he just wanted to show off the beautiful wonder and the exquisite architectural beauty that is Adelaide. But Channel 9 News in Adelaide didn't want this to go out. They put out this broadcast saying that, we are not happy with this whole Grand Theft Auto in Adelaide. No, it is wrong. It is promoting urban terrorism in all its forms. But when asked, and when the actual reporter, or the actual guy who wanted to bring out like a walking and driving piece of absolutely exquisite, showing off the beauty and wonder and the majesty of Adelaide architecture, from its old cathedrals to the more modern updated buildings and to various other landmarks. To be honest with you, I would love to have seen that. As an Australian citizen, I would have loved to have seen another location. Since I'm close to Sydney, I can at any given day just hop on a train and go right in there and do the literal walking around. But since I don't have the time or funds to go elsewhere in Australia, as in major cities and that, from what I've seen on the video, it's beautiful. It's beautifully done, though it was in its pre-alpha stage of the production. It looked quite beautiful. But though the South Australian police vehicle looked shit, everything else looked fantastic. To use my ethnic background, fantastic. And it's just so amazing to think that such a developer would put in the time and the effort to make this thing look as real as possible. And it is such a huge sense of the defamatory incompetence of the Nine Network itself. And I know if Mr. Kerry Packer was alive, he would have gotten the entire news staff from Adelaide shined his shoes up ever so nicely, turned that beautiful shoe sideways and planted it straight up up each and every single one of their derrieres with these famous 2 words: "You're fired." But to use more of a Carrierism, "Fuck off, you're done." And Mr. Packer has been known to have used such Australian phrasing to tell someone, you know what, you're done here, you're fired. And besides, he would make Donald Trump more of a diplomat than anything. But that's beside the point of the late great man of Australian media, Mr. Kerry Packer. But it's what he says. It's what he's left behind. It's just gone downhill. Like, they berate this gaming developer or this computer architectural developer over the fact that you could use a weapon on vehicles, buildings, people. You can use cars to run over people just by this test pre-alpha footage. Who knows? That footage would have just been there just for a little bit of fun. Within the personal confines of the developer. We've just said, you know what, we're taking this out, and we're just going to say, you know what, everything's fine, we don't need to have this attacking people at Adelaide. It's all we're just going to do is a driving mission game. Drive around, take photographs of different landmarks and that around Adelaide, but it didn't but because of the Nine network in Adelaide saying, oh, this is they're actually just blatantly saying that what this developer is doing is terrorism on a virtual scale, which I find funny for the simple reason is Adelaide, and I'm going to give you a little insight of what Adelaide is. Adelaide is the murder capital of, the capital city of the capital state of which is the murder capital of Australia. which is just again so amusing to think that all these news outlets now are saying, oh, they go after, these little game developers, these little bakeries, these florists, cameramen literally going after these, like all these small little people, like big massive wolves, to a small little field mouse going, "How dare you do this? You can't do this." Do the whole become like this abominable snow Frankenwolf. Yeah, like I've mashed together three monsters to form this thing called the News. Like, the beef up the chest goes, ha ha ha, didn't we crush yourself on that? Oh, didn't we do this? Yeah, they flush themselves up. But they're gutless when it comes to reporting on things that actually affect people. Like the vast majority of the populace. They agreed with what the police commissioner said on this topic, but if you ask a real life police officer on what they thought of the video of footage is, those police officers would have said, mate, that's not how our car looks. Look over here. This is one of our cars. You see, it looks nothing like what is shown in the video. A real law enforcement officer would just let it slide. But that's only on this topic. But there are other topics as well that this organization didn't do. When they said like Grand Theft Adelaide, GTA, it's called Grand Theft Auto. And when the developer of the game, of this simulation, said, here's the contact information for Rockstar Games, and they say, who is Rockstar Games? There is all you need to know of the legitimate nature of the video, of their reporting. The legitimacy of their reporting, it's nil. It's literally zippo. Nada. Not a trace of real journalism. It's just a glorified puff piece to slander a little developer. Over here in Australia, we have a terminology called the tall poppy syndrome. We cut someone down because of how, on how how well known they are, how rich they are, how this, that, and the other they are. But now all these news broadcasters are doing the opposite. For example, the dishonorable and disrespectful team of Nine News of Adelaide or the Nine network in South Australia, to do this seedling kill syndrome. And that's what they do. That's what all these news broadcasters do. They go after the little person now, and like they're seedlings. They don't go after the tall puppies. They go after these little seedlings. Kill them on the spot. And as this young developer is studying architecture, he showed them the more polished version of the particular layout of Adelaide. All of these professors went, they just virtually looked at what the news said, seen what he did, and said to him, "Get lost." What you're doing is virtual terrorism against Adelaide. Okay. Literally, this is coming from my point of view here. I'm surprised that South Australia would allow a game like Grand Theft Auto, would allow a game called Watchdog, would allow a game series like Assassin's Creed to come into the fray, come into South Australia, if such games are acts of terrorism. Well, Nine News, why don't you go after, let's say, quite a lot of, just say, you're bored of importation, or go after the person responsible for allowing this material to come into South Australia from America and Europe. But then you bend over backwards, lean forwards, spread open your butt cheeks, and get fully rimmed by Fox Studios, get rimmed by Warner Brothers, get rimmed by all these Hollywood movie people saying, "Oh, guess what? This is good quality entertainment." Wasn't the first Avengers movie virtually to do with destroying New York City? But hey, Channel 9 News doesn't want to know about this in South Australia. They go, "La la la la, it happened in New York, right here, la 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 la." Or how about online streaming of certain shows, not only from America or Europe, oh yeah, to bring Europe into things. Doctor Who, with the various attacks on on London. Why don't they say, oh, better not show any city getting... We'll allow showing London get destroyed by aliens, but we won't show... But we will not... But oh, if it dare happens in Adelaide, oh no. You see, there's the whole double standard thing with the whole Adelaide news, this whole Adelaide Channel 9 stuff. They go after the little people, but they never go after the big dogs, which is so stupid. Going after a computer developer who's studying architecture over something that happened in a pre-alpha trial scenario, picking people from the street who looks like they have never picked up a game controller in their bloody lives, and then go, oh no, it's terrible. We don't need that sort of terrorism here. Which is just so amazing to see how though it is there's Adelaide Channel 9 News, or South Australian Channel 9 News that does this, but really it literally goes across the board. I could actually see I could actually see this happening in the years to come. I'm not going to say in how precise, but I could see this happening. A loving immigrant, a loving Indian son, and over here in Sydney we have a flight simulator. And Indian man, brown skin, doing the whole flight thing around Sydney, accidentally going through the Centre Point Tower, crashing into the Harbour Bridge, Luna Park. Let's see here. Centre Point Tower, Harbour Bridge, Luna Park, Opera House. The first thing is ring the federal police. The federal police come, arrest the person, send them away, and the news will be saying, "Oh, immigrant terror attacks." The same's going to actually happen with a Middle Eastern gentleman who's not affiliated with Islam or a Muslim. There are Christian Middle Eastern people, and just say this brown-skinned individual doesn't have the strength to turn in such a degree. Therefore, they crash the plane, and it happens to be a particular landmark. You can see where this is leading up to. It doesn't look well for the individual. Even if the individual has a medical degree saying, look, doesn't have the hand-eye coordination of a person of a normal person of the particular age. But the news outlets all across Australia, if not the world, would bring this person down in an unholy fire of defamatory comments and literally unbridled heartless aggression. Hell, I've seen I've gone to see a movie, and this is at my local movie theatre, where it literally is on top of a shopping centre with views to go down, and you can actually see the shoppers walking around. And I've seen these white teenage boys, and before you go in the comment section, how dare I misjudge them, I say this to you. They're teenage boys, white, and they've got these rifles that you actually look into the game and pow. They literally looked around and went pow, pow. They're literally doing imaginary pot shots against the people who are doing their normal shopping day. And I'm thinking, though it is pretend, those guys are doing something that can be classified as quite scary, and if there was a police officer nearby, not knowing that it was a toy gun, boom, a stupid thing equals a bad outcome. But to bring back to what's been done now on this poor developer, it's about time that Nine News in Adelaide literally apologises to this guy. They said they were doing something good, informing the people of a proposed terrorist attack, or showing off a virtual terrorist attack. What they did is nothing more than defamatory. And to be honest with you, if this is how the news is going to conduct themselves, I'm talking about across the board, I can see a lot of people turning off the news, going, 6 o'clock, should we watch the news? Nah. Netflix. I know, I'll watch Fuller House. Click. Sit back and watch Fuller House, or watch something else, something that they like on TV, and they would not record the news. Like, I used to record the news. But now, after reading this, every news outlet, let me just tell you this. You have lost my support. You've lost my patronage, as in my viewership. And actually, I am literally the last member of my family to do this. Which is strange, because I held out for a good 2 years. Because I wanted to support the jobs in the media sector. Or in the news broadcasting sector. Now, to be honest with you, after with what I've seen here, I've now lost faith, trust in the news of all sorts, be it Fox, be it CNN, be it Channel 9, Channel 7, BBC. I've lost faith. I've lost trust. And with that being said, because of you defaming people, you all can go and get stuffed. Don't get fucked for all I care. I'm Dragon Burrows. See you on the other side.